Hello friends, welcome here at TNB Academy. Here we will talk about clause 5.5.2 of ISO 19011-2018, that is defining the objectives, scope and criteria for an individual audit. Here we will cover the requirements of the clause 5.5.2, defining the objectives, scope and criteria for an individual audit, which includes the requirement of the ISO 19011-2018. Now, we will discuss the small introduction about this chapter. This clause 5.5.2 talks about the defining the objectives, scope and criteria for an individual audit. In this chapter, we talk about the audit objective, goal, criteria and scope. Here is the requirement of the clause 5.5.2, defining the objectives, scope and criteria for an individual audit of the ISO 19011-2018 standard. Each individual audit should be based on defined audit objectives, scope and criteria. These should be consistent with the overall audit program objectives. The audit objectives define what is to be accomplished by the individual audit and may include the following. Point 1. Determination of the extent of conformity of the management system to be audited or parts of it with audit criteria. Point 2. Evaluation of the capability of the management system to assist the organization in meeting relevant statutory and regulatory requirements and other requirements to which the organization is committed. Point 3. Evaluation of the effectiveness of the management system in meeting its intended results. Point 4. Identification of opportunities for potential improvement of the management system. Point 5. Evaluation of the suitability and adequacy of the management system with respect to the context and strategic direction of the auditee. Point 6. Evaluation of the capability of the management system to establish and achieve objectives and effectively address risks and opportunities in a changing context, including the implementation of the related actions. The audit scope should be consistent with the audit program and audit objectives. It includes such factors as locations, functions, activities, and processes to be audited, as well as the time period covered by the audit. The audit criteria are used as a reference against which conformity is determined. These may include one or more of the following: applicable policies, processes, performance criteria, including objectives, statutory and regulatory requirements, management system requirements, information regarding the context and the risk and opportunities as determined by the auditee, including relevant external and internal interested parties requirements, sector codes of conduct or other planned arrangements. In the event of any changes to the audit objectives, scope or criteria, the audit program should be modified if necessary and communicated to interested parties for approval if appropriate. When more than one discipline is being audited at the same time, it is important that the audit objectives, scope and criteria are consistent with the relevant audit programs for each discipline. Some disciplines can have a scope that reflects the whole organization and others can have a scope that reflects a subset of the whole organization. Now, we will explain here what clause requirement says. This clause 5.5.2 requirement says every particular audit is based on defined audit goals, scope and criteria, standard, and these are totally depend on the objective of audit program. The audit objective explains what goals achieved by the particular audit, and that may include 1. Establishment of the range of compliance of standard of management system standard which is audited with audit criteria. Point 2. assessment of the capability of the management system to help the organization to fulfill the applicable statutory and regulatory requirements. 3. Assessment of the effectiveness of the management system to fulfill its expected result. 4. Establishment of opportunities for the improvement of the management system, such as ISO 9001-2015, ISO 14001-2015, ISO 45001-2018, etc. 5. Assessment of appropriateness of the management system with respect the scope of the client or auditee. 6. Assessment of the ability of the management system to establish and achieve objectives and addressing risk and opportunities as per the change context, including the implementation of the relevant actions. The audit activity should be logical with audit program and audit objectives, including such as locations and temporary sites, activities, functions, and process to be audited, as well as time period covered by the audit. The audit range is used as a reference against fulfill standard requirement, and these may also include the applicable policies of the company, process, procedure, and performance criteria, including the objective, statutory, and regulatory requirements, management system standard requirement, information regarding the context and risk and opportunities decided by the client. If the activities change after audit program development, then according to the changes, the audit program also changes and communicated to relevant interested parties as well. If more than one department is audited at the same time in the organization, then it is necessary to ensure the audit objective criteria and scope are consistent with the related audit program for each department. Some department can have a scope that reflects the whole organization, and others can have a scope that reflects a subset of the whole organization. Dear friends, we have now come to the conclusion of this training session. See you soon with an exciting new topic. Till then, goodbye.